All right, Farmer 4-gun. A lot of people are like, well, you need this many guns. Okay, sure. I'm going to hit it from a completely different angle like I normally do because my system is based off of a homesteading context, not, military context. It is the Boer Farmer Triangle. Brothers Operating Excellence and Relationship is the acronym BOR. Translated directly equals farmer, farmer triangle. We are militant nothing. Militant nothing. You play those stupid games, you get stupid prizes. Why do I say this? Because you have pea shooters. You don't have what even the Taliban has. So relax, Francis. Okay. Well, what's number one? The air gun or the air rifle? Listen, stop, look, listen, smell. Why did I say number one? Many of us started with a Red Ryder BB gun. You shoot your eye out, kid. Or a buck, or any of a host of different BB or pellet rifles. I think that's an excellent place for people to start. I also think that, using a broad context of people that may be not in a population density of less than 10 people per square mile, which I highly recommend for peace, you have neighbors, right? And so 22 long rifle goes a long way when you don't want it to, if you don't have proper backstops. So it changes the angles you can shoot the vermin in your garden. And when I say air gun, I'm not limiting myself to a BB gun, BBs. I'm talking pellets 177 through 22 through 30. If you haven't embraced air gun from that all the way to something that is .308, like a Quackenbush air rifle that can kill big game, you may not know air gun the way I'm saying air gun. When I say air gun, I'm also talking about airsoft. Airsoft is an excellent training tool. You will find in the tropical climates that CO2 guns, because it's hotter, are actually more lethal. And a lot of natives in those tropical climates hunt with CO2 guns that you wouldn't think about here in the States. Same with green gas and electric and everything else. So the air gun, or specifically the air rifle, is the number one that I'm putting on the list in order. And there's a reason why, because it doesn't take a whole lot of finances in order to get something to start training with. Even at the height of the 22s being gone, 22 long rifle, I could still get 22 caliber air rifle pellets, which are more than sufficient with modern air guns to kill the vermin in the garden and even some big stuff. So don't emote, just listen to what I have to say. The second thing I'm going to put on there is the shotgun. Even the former elected people will agree you can have a shotgun. Well, in most places, you can't have certain stuff, but you can have a shotgun. What's the beauty of a shotgun? You have versatility with loadings. It opens up different angles of interdiction because field load doesn't go that far. I use a shotgun a lot on vermin that climbs up trees that the puppies can't get. It's an excellent tool for that, and you can scale it up. And what you find, and I'm talking globally, is you'll find air guns and shotguns still available to publics in regimes where they don't even let them have center fire stuff. So this becomes, think about the people in England. Most of their tactical training is what? Airsoft, right? And a shotgun is easier to obtain, at least the last I heard, in many countries, over rifles. I'm just saying that because of accessibility and availability globally, as well as the versatility of a shotgun. You don't really have to be as good of a marksman with close range engagements with vermin with a shotgun. And you don't have to know, you do have to know, but you don't have to have the same requirement with angles of shot because of backstops and how far the shot will actually travel. Now, you start upping the shot size, there's more danger space, more things you have to consider. But a shotgun would be the number two. Number three, which everyone wants, and I'm going to say America's rifle, the AR. And when I say America's rifle, every single variation from 22 long rifle up to the 7mm 08 or even some 300 Win Mag versions of it. America's Rifle, why? Because a common manual of arms. And if you need training and you need to go to Appleseed, which I suggest people do, a 22 long rifle kit for America's Rifle is perfectly capable, if you understand its limitations with mag changes, etc., to qualify riflemen in Appleseed. So America's Rifle, if you're in a place where it's restricted and you can't use 223, 556 to hunt with, you can get an upper study or an understudy to help. And what I mean by that is an upper study in a more potent caliber, all kinds, and the AR platform, so you can legally hunt where you are, which is more important that you get outside and hunt with your system. That's the other reason for the shotgun, because the hunting fields is where you learn a bunch. Simo Hoiha, the most celebrated and successful sniper in history, honed a lot of his skills on the farm, hunting with his system and competition. So the way we set up our weapons system for the farm is quite different than CQB door kickers would. I would prioritize higher magnification, variable power optics, terminal ballistics, and the portability of being able to put it on my tractor, rather than other things that a Ranger or a Green Beret may prioritize on their system. Some of the stuff bleeds over, but the priority on the farm is quite a bit different, because we're looking at this hunting and protecting our livestock with from predation context as the priority. And if you don't think that's a priority, you've had a homestead, how many home invasions have you had to deal with lately versus rodents or predators or raccoons getting into your chicken coop, right? What's the 90% context? I'm not talking about war, because you don't have soldiers, you have family, right? Different context, different training priorities, different realities of your current situation. Can these systems be used in other contexts? You bet. Read Total Resistance and you can see how air guns are used tactically. What? Yep. Whole different ball game. Moving right along. Number 4, to complete the farmer foregun is a pistol. Now there's all kinds of ways this thing can happen, and some of you will go straight to the plastic fantastic as your go-to, and that's fine. I don't care about your choices. But what is your use? I know many farmers that carry little small 22 revolvers with snake shot in it for their snake threat, because that's what they're most worried about. I've seen 327 Federal, I've seen 9mm, 10mm, all the way up to rifle caliber single shot pistols for shooting stuff on the farm. I don't care what your choices are, but why is the pistol used? For hunting or varmint eradication? Now, could it be for self-defense? Sure. A lot of stuff can bleed over, but the priority on how you choose a pistol and why you choose a pistol may be totally different versus, you're going into town. Well, I'm more likely to run into a pack of wolves than a two-legged predator on my property because of population density. Real strategic relocation will give you that option versus being in a place where there's 200 people per square mile. It changes, right? If you're not on the X of the big crowds, less likely you're going to have big crowd problems. Can it happen? You bet. However, the reality is when you take in your context, which is key, you start to realize your training plan can overlap because you're hunting with it, you're finding what? The weaknesses of your system. Context. What is it? I don't know. It's different than mine, right? There's big bears where I live. I choose a 10mm if I'm just running a pistol sometimes. Why? Because it's what I can carry and what I can hit the target with 90% of the time. Common manual arms with all my other previous training. Same reason why America's Rifle. There's a lot of veterans that know how to use it and run it. There's a lot of people in Appleseed that know how to run it. And if you hunt with it, or its big brothers, the AR-10s, right? You get more experience at running it under stress and duress, which that type of training, I call it live tissue training, is invaluable when it comes to how you will react in other possible self-defense situations. Obviously follow the laws wherever you live, but this is the context of the farmer foregun totally different system than in Focus. There's plenty of great former sergeant majors from different units that teach self-defense with handguns and rifles. That's great. My focus is quite a bit different because we're on our third homestead, and higher learning through harder impact in the mountains. When you have a high predator load, you prioritize different things than you would if you were a soldier going into combat, because you're not soldiers. You have family. It's the farmer-farmer triangle. It's about triangles and relationships, how you use your tools to help you in your environment, backhoes versus tanks, right? If you want to know more about this, I go into detail on my Patreon page. Your access to certain mentors and instructors is a very short window. These are the areas I would tell someone who's new to focus on. Everyone superimposes their context of being in the city. Well, just move. Get off the X in the first place. You're less likely to use it in a defensive situation. Oh, there's going to be plenty of light around. Have you been up in the north where there's no street lights? It's dark. You might want a flashlight on your gun. But you need training either way. And I can tell you, when you hunt with your systems, you learn a lot. You learn a ton. You learn a lot about terminal performance that you wouldn't learn from ballistics jail. You learn a lot about safe shot zones, backstops, range safety setup. Not everyone knows how to do that. I have a whole thing just on that. But these are the farmer four-gun venues, main topics that I would push, because you can practice now if you know how to set up safe stuff with air guns in all kinds of environments, especially airsoft, the biodegradable airsoft. I use it in training all the time. And it gives you a sustain. And that's what the fake experts miss. It's shoot, move, communicate, what? And sustain. Or better yet, in reverse, sustain, communicate, move, then maybe shoot. Because strategic relocation for real, that one chess move can get you off the X. It can, statistically. What are the odds? I'm more likely to engage a varmint in the garden than a two-legged predator, quite frankly. And so my priorities are that way. You do you, however you want to. I'm sure people are going to emote in the comments. That's not what my place is for. Read the channel description before you start typing. Have you lived through the 22 long rifle shortage? How much does it cost for 150,000 airsoft BBs? Where's the sustain? Can you use that as a training tool? We used it in the military a lot instead of simunitions, because the restrictions were less if you know how to set up a scenario and a trap for those things. It opens up training opportunities. Just like Appleseed, if you have that baseline of marksmanship, that's the part of the system that matters. It's not the kit. It's be a rifleman first. Be safe, right? Be a brother operating excellence in relationship. If you want to operate excellence in a relationship with me because you see value, come on over to Patreon. We'll see you soon. Hopefully this finds you well. Carry rucksacks, not feelings bags. Shalom.